we direct. You see that? You see that sky? See that sky? That's that air tron right there. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't have planned that. I just looked up and it was like, damn, look at God. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to all of the Geminis. You know what I'm saying? We officially, well, we still 29 degrees Taurus, so y'all can have your last day, but y'all already feel the cuspy energy. Shout out to the Geminis, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. Happy Star Day to y'all. You know what I'm saying? Celebrate. Make sure y'all have a lot of good communication right now. Moon and Libra. Let's talk about it a little bit. So y'all know I'm jumping right in. I'm not even waiting for people to jump in, but as y'all come in, welcome. But for the most part, Moon and Libra, of course, has us in an emotional way, reacting, responding to relationships, the way we relate to ourselves and others, as well as balance in our life. Now, both the Moon in Libra and the Sun in Taurus share the planet Venus. Venus is currently in Taurus. So when it comes to Venus, what up, Rare Vision? You know what I'm saying? Happy to see you here, man. What up? So, you know, when we talk about this energy, off the bat, we know that, okay, there's a shift going on in terms of us honing more into what we value, right? Venus being home, it's like, okay, this is where the most of the attention is going towards. It's going towards what we actually value. But see, the transition from Taurus into Gemini is value being put to the test, value being communicated. You know, it's one thing to value something, it's one thing to be stable on something, to make sense out of something internally, but it's a whole different story to then communicate it. That's where the real challenge comes. I'm not even gonna lie, like, especially like for the other mutable signs, you know what I'm saying, Pisces, Gemini, and Sagittarius, communication becomes the thing in which the challenge lies. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, we got the vision, yeah, we got the imagination, yeah, we got the faith, the belief, yeah, we got the logic and no, the practicality of it and how it can make sense. But when it comes to communicating it, that's a whole different story. For Virgos, it's the how do I communicate this in a way that's not too harsh, not too serious, not too heavy. For Sagittarius, is how do I communicate it without being too all over the place, fiery. You know what I'm saying? You know how Sagittarius be. Sometimes it's just too expansive. It's like, damn, I can't even fit that into something. Pisces, it didn't even make sense. You know what I'm saying? You know, everyone was saying the 18th was supposed to be a good, not for me. I see predicted good days being bad for me and predicted bad days being decent. I wonder why that is. It's because, like, when people say shit like that, it's because they're probably looking at one or two transits and coming up with a generalization of, you know, it's like cookie cutter astrology, basically. Like, oh, because I think a lot of people were saying that because the sun was conjunct Jupiter, if I'm not mistaken, or conjunct Uranus or something like that. And they're looking at it from a perspective of trying to hone in on that one transit and generalizing it. So what they do is, and see, that's kind of like a negative form of you say I'm Aquarius sun, we have to do everything opposite, real shit. But like it's really like, that's the thing. It's like the same thing as horoscopes. It can't be a good day for every Aquarius. It can't be a good day for every Gemini. It can't be a good day for because everybody has their own individual alignment. So a lot of times when you see that, oh, it's supposed to be a good luck day, it's just bullshit. And a lot of times it's clickbait stuff to get people involved into their posts, but they're just looking at a general transit and coming into a general assumption of what that energy could be, but it's no real stance on that. You know what I'm saying? There's no real energy from that. I was kind of the same way too. Like a lot of times when I would feel like it was like when I would wake up and it was weird, this thing I used to do in like elementary school, and I played around with it. It was like, if I told myself like, yeah, today gonna be a bad day, I fuck around and have a good day. If I told myself it was a good day, I let myself down. I think it has something to do with expectations. But yeah, like getting back to what I was saying though, like when it comes to the this energy currently, like the communication right now is starting to become the key. What we have to value, or our values that we developed this whole Taurus season, is like, it's now time to put it to the test. So if you look at the whole spring season as one little, like a movie, right? Beginning, middle, and end. In the beginning of a movie, it's all about, you know, the character, where they're from, and it's like you clearly see their issue, what they want, and then the thing that's creating that conflict. In the middle portion of a movie, you see that person, that individual go out on a journey, right? And become very, you know, have to go kind of through the trials and tribulations of something that's very, you know, they're basically dealing with what is the conflict, and still kind of clinging on to their old ways, but learning new ways to jump into their new ways. In the third act, that's always when they break away from their old ways and go completely into that new world, new space. So if you look at this energy, this spring season, as, okay, an Aries season, you was coming off that imagination and dream, you have a lot of things to spark off. In Taurus season, you had to stay stable, lock in, and kind of deal with the back and forth movement, but choose to still stay stable. So that was that whole process during Taurus season. We at the 29th degree. So right now, you said, in Jupiter expands, no matter good or bad, same for all other signatures, how they map, how they may play out. Real shit. Yeah, it was all about expansion rather than good luck. I don't even believe in good luck to that degree. I look at it like, you know, when you look at what's going on, it's not like whether or not, like, when it comes to luck, it really depends on your awareness and your preparedness for that opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Things fall in your lap, but they don't just fall in your lap because they fall in your lap when you prepare for them. You know what I'm saying? When you have the right mentality and you've been participating with your actual body into whatever it is that you're trying to bring into your life. Because, like, all it's going to do is create a manifestation. When a manifestation comes, in order to materialize it, you have to seize the opportunity. So you have to jump into the experience and apply what you know. And whether or not you know enough or not, that's going to determine the outcome of that experience. And again, it's, even if you end up falling short, even that's the positive end of Jupiter. Even if you fall short, you learn enough to do better next time. So you expand either way. Shout out Jackie New. But yeah, real shit. Like, so right now, you said, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't Pisces energy having difficulties with manifestation right now? See, again, you'll go to a page that'll say that, but I'm a Pisces and I'm manifesting. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of times when people say shit like that, it's like, what perspective are they speaking from? You know what I'm saying? Like who told you knew what all Pisces was going through? You know what I'm saying? Like, so some astrologers you listen to, you got to be like, what are you even saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, real shit. Like, astrologers, I've seen posts from astrologers that be like, today is the worst day in the world. Today is the worst day of your life because we got Mars opposite this, opposite that. And it's like, who telling you that? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, real shit. Jackie said, just stick to real astrologers for your reference. Real shit. Because, you know, a lot of, like, it kind of go into what I was saying the other, I think a few videos ago, when I was like, when I made that video talking about everybody trying to sell you something. A lot of times you gotta, like, a lot of what you see online and stuff like that, especially nowadays, you could tell what's real versus what's not based upon the angle. Like, who's trying to sell you something. A lot of times those astrologers be trying to get you to come back, trying to get you to buy a reading, trying to get you to buy this, that, and the third. They not just talking from life in general, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's funny, man. That's funny. But yeah, I was like, I'm a Pisces, I'm manifesting, so I don't know what they talking about. You said everybody salesman. Real shit. I feel like that's part of the age of Aquarius syndrome. It's like everybody is too smart for their own, well, I say too smart for their own good, but it's like a form of being smart that's really showing how dumb you are, or a form of being intelligent that's showing how much of an ass you are. Like, you an asshole for real. Like, you're not really showing intelligence, you showing your ass, because you know what I'm saying, you speaking from a place in which you don't really know what you talk about. And I feel like, honestly, I ain't gonna lie, I feel like with the trine going on that's finna go down, like, even right now, Sun finna slide in Gemini, we only gonna get a little bit of the moon in Libra before it kind of switch, and it's not really a grand trine, and it's not even a grand trine in and of itself. Well, it kind of technically is, because Pluto is still early degrees Aquarius, but this is like a little pocket of energy in which through communication and logic, a lot of people's perceptions are going to transform for better or for worse. Even like little stuff coming out like the video with Diddy. Diddy thought he was free. Diddy thought he could he thought he could slip this shit under the rug. Nah, certain things like that. It's going to be a lot of conversations about things that's going to change people's perceptions. So take that and apply it to your life in the sense of right now is the best time to speak your mind about values that you developed during this previous time. And you should know better. You should be a lot wiser about what it is you're grounded on, or what you want to center yourself on, or what you want to build as a foundation. But use this time to communicate in order to change and transform your perception for, you know, and again, that's like a form of you taking power and control over your situation, status, really depending on where you got Pluto at. That's an opportunity right there to transform that area of life just by speaking your mind and speaking, like basically you're speaking on what you just learned about that you value, you know what I'm saying? And see, you'll see who planted the right seeds or not, because what they choose to communicate, you'll be like, oh, okay, damn, that person really expanded in that area. Or you're gonna be like, damn, this person not really connecting no dots in that area. I don't think they really learned the lesson. If anything, you'll get other people the idea that, you know, to basically pick up on what you missed out on. So other people will kind of be in a position to put you on game. I wouldn't even be so negative towards people who might have 2 cents to give you right now, even though I always look at it like, don't always take somebody 2 cents as valuable. But sometimes, like, if you think about it in life, sometimes those little things end up saving you in the long run. Like, it might be, you know, somebody 2 cents that would just be enough currency to pay for something. So right now be a time where somebody's saying something that you might not like, it might just make enough sense for you to kind of make some shake with it. Like, so I wouldn't be so negative to, and right now a lot of people gonna just be saying stuff like, you know, I'm just saying da 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 da, I'm just saying this. And what they might just be saying, it might not, like, you know what I'm saying, if you open enough right now, it could be something that you can kind of put it in your back pocket, and you'll never know when that'll be something you glad you held on to. But you don't have to take it to heart. Right now is not taking it to heart time. It's air energy, especially with the moon in Libra. So there has to be a sense of balance there. These are people that you value right now. That's really what I'm talking about. People communicating with people that you value at the moment. Like, and right now you should be very kind of privy to who's making sense out of things and who's not, who's just kind of talking to talk, and who actually been through enough experiences and kind of made something real out of what it is they was experiencing. Because the sun being conjunct Jupiter in Taurus, it's like those who experienced real shit, they gonna have a lot of real shit to kind of back it up. They gonna have a lot of real shit to say. People who kind of experience bullshit, you gonna hear the bullshit in their communication. It's gonna kind of like, just something about it, it's not gonna be enough like dots to connect that is gonna make enough sense to be like, oh yeah, I agree, or nah, I disagree. You know what I'm saying? But building on top of that, so right now, when it comes to value, like, let's talk about the moon in Libra for a second. So the moon in Libra is opposite Mars in Aries, right? So right now, when it comes to our passions, there's a opportunity through this opposition, right? Because oppositions can be a tug of war match. They could be, you know, friction, but it's also a balancing situation. And in this particular opposition, being that Libra is all about balance, there's an opportunity right here to actually create some common ground with what you're passionate about, what you might have been doing as an individual, and what you can now spread and delegate as a mission or a goal, a common goal. So right now is like, okay, especially if you take into account you and your value, right? What you've been investing your time and energy into. If you actually have something, let's say you've actually been taking your time going through the process and being patient, there's going to be opportunity now for the passions that you've kind of developed and honed in on your own time, there's going to be opportunity for you to start to introduce this into different social settings and arenas, right? Different social groups. So different people that you might be involved in. And this is also kind of part of that trine I was just talking about with Pluto, the sun, and the moon currently. Right now, it's like the right conversation can open the door for you to change your perception. And now all of a sudden, a lot of people want to add on to what it is that you have been working on, what you have been showing that you investing in. They're like, oh shit, that actually is looking like something that is prosperous or has potential. And that's really what the end of the movie, like I was just saying before with that analogy of this kind of like beginning, middle, end. Now that we're moving into the mutable portion of the spring, this is the conclusion of the spring movie. So if you're, you know what I'm saying, the conclusion of the spring movie is like, oh shit, okay, you know, this person had an idea, they sparked off new imaginations from it, or they sparked off new awarenesses of it, right? That turned into us being stable on it, or you being stable on it enough to now make sense out of it. Now it's time to make it move, make it make sense, you know, or take that internal practicality and making it make sense. Now it's time to actually communicate that and spread that sense to a bunch of different other individuals who now can apply themselves to that same common goal. Now teamwork is making the dream work, you know what I'm saying? But again, like I said before, this is not taking it to heart time. So be open to criticism, you know what I'm saying? But be aware of when the criticism is coming from an individual who hasn't experienced though. You know what I'm saying? That's going to become the new thing. It's like, who's experienced and who hasn't, you know. Man, shout out to Steven Marino, man. Shout out to Steven. Yo, hopefully you can come out to the next 717, bro. We need some more plant talk. You know what I'm saying? Some more wisdom. But yeah. So right now, that's the big thing right now. Being willing to communicate. And see, let's talk about some of the other things that communication can do for us right now. So right now, there's an in conjunction, but behind the in conjunction is a gift, aka the sun being on the cusp, but Taurus in Gemini. Now the misunderstanding, right, can only be cleared up through communication. Balance can be established, right? And this is a form of, if you think about the Taurus and Libra combination, one being internal, where the sun is at is the internal side of Venus, and where the moon is at is the external. So there's a chance for, through communication, for people to start to really feel what it is that you're trying to convey, as far as either value you're applying to them, to their life, or you just speaking on things that you value that they now can see that they might want to invest in or create balance with or relate to. It's almost like, let's say you got a hobby and people around you might not be as into that hobby as you, but because they relate to you, or they're in a relationship with you, you speaking about it makes them actually engaged in it. And see, this is a positive thing, and this is something that not everybody chooses to do with the people close to them. Like, for instance, let's say you make music and you post it, but let's say your friends and family don't interact with it. Yeah, on one end, it might be like on their part for not showing you love, not supporting you. But sometimes we forget that we don't give people the opportunity to support us based upon being willing to introduce them to that side of us. You know what I'm saying? It's like people who you've never introduced the idea of you making music to, that you expect to support your music when you post it randomly online. Like, yeah, if they fuck with you, they should fuck with you regardless. But I always see it also on the other end of, you have a responsibility to, if these are people you care about in your life, to introduce them to that side of you that does what you do, that values that. Because otherwise you kind of just leave people in this weird space where it's like, oh shit, I didn't know they did that. Sometimes people go in their mind and be like, damn, they didn't even let me know that they did that. Like, I mean, I support it, but like, I can't really get involved because they just ain't had that bridge. You know what I'm saying? Of course, at the same time, hey, if they fuck with you, they should fuck with you. But I don't know. I've experienced situations like that where it kind of makes sense on on both ends as the other person on the other end of that. It's like sometimes you have to be that bridge to introduce them into what you do, because otherwise people don't, you know, everybody got their own life. Nobody really obligated to be invested into what you choose to get involved in. But you know, sometimes that's why people drift apart in relationships. You didn't even introduce them to that side of you. And we always constantly, a part of us is always dying for a new part to be birthed. Change is constant. And there's so many things that we don't realize, damn, I changed so much in this area that I didn't even give the people I care about enough time to catch up. And it's really your choice and responsibility to do that. Who you bring with you is partly your choice. I feel like all relationships are your choice. It's a cardinal energy. So you choose at the end of the day. You set the standard. You know what I'm saying? Even if you want to be passive about it. It's ironic because a lot of that Gemini energy, I mean, Libra energy especially, gets labeled as passive, but it's still a cardinal sign. So when you think about that area of your life, relationships, the 7th house space, it's cardinal. You initiate it. If you don't initiate a bridge, if you don't show that, hey, there's actually a place on the other side of this open gap that you can land and receive my energy and I can exchange it with yours, then you know, the other side of that end doesn't understand, doesn't always pick up on the subtlety. It doesn't always, you know what I'm saying? So it's a cardinal energy at the end of the day. And then so we're going from a cardinal, or the moon is in a cardinal space. So right now we're in the space to receive that. That's why right now is a really good time to speak your mind about what you value. Speak up, you know what I'm saying? Let somebody know, because you never know when that might be the very thing that, you know, again, opens the door for things to be balanced in a way that you couldn't have imagined. Now, let's talk about the moon. Yeah, so the moon opposite Mars. Getting back to that, right, before we go into the next alignment. Moon opposite Mars is feeling opposite to your passions. But right now it's like, again, get out of your feelings for a second. Understand that these passions, there needs to be some way you can relate them in order for them to be effective in the world. You know what I'm saying? So use this opportunity to create balance with what you're individually passionate about. If you speak on it, because Mars is finna be sextiling where the sun is going. Sun is going into Gemini. So there's going to be an opportunity that you might not be able to see yet, but by you having courage and understanding where the energy is at, you won't let this opposite energy of feeling uncomfortable with your passions. And really the uncomfortable feeling is coming with, you might not feel like it's all the way relatable yet. You might not feel like it's something you want to share yet. But by dealing with this little uncomfortable feeling and creating balance in your mind and say, you know what, though, I'm building up myself to be able to extend these passions to somebody else and make it relatable. That in and of itself creates an energy where it's like, okay, boom. Now you kind of opening the door early on, because we're going to have a sextile with the sun. So it's going to be something for you. It's going to be almost like a, so since it's a sextile, it's not like a requirement. It's a choice on whether or not you want to take that opportunity or not. But there's going to be an open window for you to be able to communicate about what you're passionate about. And if it makes enough sense in the hearts of others, hey, there's opportunity there, whether they contribute in a positive way or a negative way, because it could still be negative. Opportunities could still be negative. It could be the opportunity you start speaking about your passions. Now people are coming up with ideas on how to attack it, how to discourage you, how to convince you that that passion ain't something to go for. So you need to be aware of that too, not be too scatterbrained. AKA, what you built in Taurus, remember, is stability based in value. Don't let someone talk you out of your position in Gemini season based upon you not being confident in what it is you value, and instead taking the word of someone else who might have told you that what you was into wasn't valuable, based upon them being secretly envious about your position and wanting to take you out of that. Again, Pluto is going to be trining the sun. So this is a sense of, you have the gift to take power control over your life, or allow someone else to take power and control over you based upon lack of, I say, it's not so much lack of, maybe lack of communication, you being unable to communicate effectively, or unable to think clearly, being too swayed by others' opinion. The negative side of Gemini, being too gullible, where you take anybody's word. And even if you don't believe it, and I'm not calling Geminis gullible, because a lot of Geminis are highly intelligent to the point they make others around them gullible because they think that they someone to play with. Because, you know, Gemini come around, they always laughing, they always kind of in that mood to be bubbly and sociable, but you don't realize that they are geniuses a lot of times. A lot of times Geminis, they mind moves so fast, they got enough for your mind and some. So they already on some other stuff mentally, to the point where that's why they get a bad rep. People say, oh, no, you a Gemini, and they get scared because they know how fast a Gemini mind moves, to the point where they can't keep up. A Gemini done played you 3 times over before you even caught on to the idea of them potentially playing you. You know what I'm saying? On the negative end, if we talking more the, you know, the lower octave Geminis, the ones that's just having fun. But on a high octave, Geminis, some of the most inspiring people to be around, because they come at you in a way where you feel, again, related to them. They big you up in a way that it feel like 10 people supporting you, and it's just one Gemini friend, just based upon how they, you know, how they communicate. So, you know what I'm saying, Geminis carry that gift. You know what I'm saying? Yes, sir. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Esoteric knowledge only. Real shit. Shout out Rare Vision. But that's how it be. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we have access to at this moment in time. We can speak a lot of great things into existence, but we could also speak and expose ourselves if we're not careful about or intentional about what we're trying to convey as an idea or message. We could be seen as foolish right now just by talking too much about stuff that you haven't invested time into. Be very careful. I'll say that. Be very careful, because, you know, right now it's like it's the only thing that you're gonna have to stand on is what you invested your time into during Taurus season. You could play catch up. So let's say you didn't really spend enough time in what it is you wanted to invest your time into. You could play catch up, but you might have to listen more. You know what I'm saying? I would recommend that. If you feel as though you didn't plant the best seeds the first half of Gemini, when the first deacon of Gemini, just listen. Don't even say too much. Just listen. That's going to put you on way more game than trying to talk and trying to catch up. Because you're going to feel a pressure to want to know as much as everybody who's speaking around you, as much as you think they know. AKA the full moon in Sagittarius. You're going to feel unsatisfied about what you know and what you've experienced. You're going to feel caged in. But what you feel caged in by, right, you can blame it on something external, but at the end of the day, at the core of your soul, you're going to know you feel caged in based upon what you chose to not dabble into when everybody else was going into their own space and investing in what they wanted to value, what they value. You was trying to, you was doing something else. You was trying to see what other people was into. You was into your pleasures. You was getting distracted over here. You was doing too much over there. You was trying to change up too many times because you was tired of the process, and you didn't care about going slow and being patient. You wanted to be as fast as you thought everybody else was moving. You wasn't focused on yourself. Boom. Now, full moon in Sagittarius, you unsatisfied about what you know. You feel slow, so you want to prove. You might be trying to prove and preach that you know something, and everybody around you is gonna fall on deaf ears. Nobody gonna want to hear that shit because you're not speaking from nobody who took the time. That's why, like, when you really understand why people sit and listen to certain people, it's because they took the time. Now, granted, there's people on TikTok who don't know shit, right? But you see tons of people in their live, you be like, why? What they saying might to you be like, that's dumb, that's stupid. Why would someone watch this? But you don't realize it's not about that. It's about the time they spent in that space to come up with that unique way of doing whatever it is they doing online. That dog girl who was being an NPC, who started the whole shit. He was like, that's stupid. But you don't know how much time she spent in that space, investing, grinding, coming up with this expression. Taurus squares Leo for a reason, because the lesson learned is that an actor who just got their lines, and there is a such thing as like improv and stuff like that, but it's about craft. So even an improv actor, the time they spent practicing improv, it leads to the quality of what they can put on that center stage. And that's when the moon was, right? If you remember, when the moon was in Leo, that's the type of shit we was talking about. I was talking about. I don't know what everybody else was talking about. That's the type of shit I was talking about. The value of it. What are you putting on that stage? That was the type of shit that plays out. Look, we 2 moons later, creating a sextile, an opportunity. If you paid attention during that time, there's an opportunity here to be able to communicate something through that moon in Libra and relate based upon how much you've invested into that character or expression. But that's not really, you know, I was talking more so about Taurus energy and Leo energy and how that square plays out. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you look at these people, the first thing we want to do is hate. And sometimes it don't even be hate. Sometimes we just be roasting. Like you know what I'm saying? When we see somebody online doing some shit, we like, oh man, look at that goofy ass shit. Especially when we see some I was about to say third world, but it's really third world 3D ass shit. You know what I'm saying? We'd be like, man, look at that 3D ass shit. Or look at, like, even when I was saying earlier in the stream, when I was like, cookie cutter astrology, look at that bullshit. Like, people just do that for the title card to get you to come back. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes, hey, you know what I'm saying? That's still a lane. You know what I'm saying? People who, like, the world is vast. You can't just sit and think that everything of value is only what you know. You know what I'm saying? Even if you don't understand it, like the stuff we see in the 3D that we want to roast. Yeah, it's funny sometimes, but I mean, hey, look, even music and stuff like that. You know, the whole, you know what I'm saying? When these mainstream artists drop songs, yeah, we roast it because we know the real, but some of the shit bang. You know what I'm saying? Some of the shit bang for a reason. That spirit was in a space. You know, and you got to real respect real. When you understand a spirit was in a real space to create something in a fake world that might look fake, but damn, it really bang. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I don't hate shit. Like, on that level. I mean, there's some shit to hate, but I don't be, you know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, real recognize real. But moving on to the next topic, or the next alignment, the moon. So yeah, we still got sun moving into Gemini again. Just to add on that, value being communicated now, things are gonna start moving a lot more. I say a lot more, not necessarily faster just yet, maybe a little faster, but these are going to start picking up again. So you have to kind of be aware of that. And being in right now, being that it's 29 degrees, this is a Neptune-ish day. So this is kind of creating like almost like even a connection with Neptune in a sense, because the sun is going to be square Neptune, right? Neptune is one of those interesting planets. Being that it's generational, sometimes you don't always see it or understand it. Neptune is our access to imaginations. It's also the collective delusion at the moment. You know what I'm saying? So Neptune and Pisces, delusions is where they're supposed to be at. They're in our subconscious. That's why right now even it's so powerful. Part of the shift is being aware. And I recognize shifts as more so understanding like outer planets and how they're angling each other, right? Part of the shift, Neptune and Pisces, right, is being able to be in that subconscious, understanding what's going on in your subconscious, basically, so that you can create better imaginations, right? So it's like you have a better starting point when it comes to your subconscious world, like subconscious health. Even I even kind of see the recognition Is that how you say that word? I'm tripping. Yeah, I think that's how you say it. Sometimes you say a word and it be like, that don't even sound how it's supposed to sound. But I guess it is, you know what I'm saying? But who cares, right? Recognizing now that trauma is actually the root of the world's issues. Emotional trauma, subconscious trauma, that's all Neptune and Pisces. Recognizing that and being able to assess that. Neptune and Aries is going to be something different, a whole different take on that. The revolution of that, what that looks like when it's being attacked, what that looks like when it's being attacked in the sense of in the process of being birthed again. I think that's one of the best things to come out of this age or this era is the recognition or recognizing, I'm just gonna say recognizing that, you know, emotional trauma is the root of what is causing us to spiral in the way we are, as far as reactions and the way individuals grow up to think and behave, you know what I'm saying? And again, the theory hurt people carries on through that, you know what I'm saying? So understanding generational trauma, the things that we don't, you know what I'm saying, generational trauma in the sense of carrying something from your bloodline and, you know, abusing your kids based upon that same template, creating generational curses, what that actually means. Generational curses being basically just a loop of emotional trauma that your family is stuck under based upon nobody, just based upon not changing the pattern. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of us in this age are waking up and peeping the pattern, and we're choosing every day. We're choosing whether or not we're going to play an example to change that pattern or to continue it. And it's not always easy. We fall short from time to time, but the dedication and the commitment to change is what matters. And the more we understand that, even as we build community, because that's part of why it's hard to be a community for real. You know what I'm saying? Community is very important. You know what I'm saying? And you can't convince me otherwise. Because if you really look at life and shit like that, everything is a community. Your body in and of itself is a community. Your heart has to correspond with your lungs in order to make sense out of life, to move and operate effectively. So why the fuck not with you in your mind next to your neighbor who got a different mind perspective, working together, not produce a better result than you in your own selfish space trying to do what you do one way? It don't always look pretty, it don't always make sense, but it's like, if you think about it, the better well, actually it makes perfect sense. The better you work on yourself, how we always say, better you work on yourself, the better you work with others. And there's so many things that only through a relationship can you understand parts of yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't even reach certain spaces about yourself without being related to, for someone to reflect something back to you and say, hey, have you seen this yet? Have you really looked at yourself like this? You can't even get that. And that's the type of shit that even I'm talking like this probably because the moon in Libra is really is coming through, because that's what Libra shows you. Libra, it's like, if you think about it, the axis between the first house and the seventh house is crazy, because one is about personal insecurities. The other one is about the way you relate others, right? So many times, if you think about it, the opposition of, okay, there's my personal insecurities and then there's others. If you think about it and recall, every time conflict kind of played out in relationships is because of some form of a personal insecurity. If you understand where personal insecurities come from, it's those emotional traumas. Because then we got to look at the fourth house. We start to understand these emotional traumas that created these very complex ways of our spirit trying to navigate. Instead of just being who we want to be, or that's the issue, being who we are, we be who we want to be. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times people don't be who they are, they just be who they want to be. And a relationship be that that mirror that make you say, well, this might be how I want to be, but this is who I am. And that little distance in between is really like some of the realest shit that you get to learn about yourself. And like, life is a form of trying to shorten that gap. So who you are is who you want to be at all times. But that don't keep you, and see, that still don't keep you from being too self-centered, because what you start to realize is who you wanted to be was really just somebody who was loved and appreciated, or somebody who was seen properly. Kind of damn near 10th house. You wanted to be respected, slick. But you realize real respect comes from the closing in that gap. Oh, this person really is who they say they are. What they do and they saying, they you know what I'm saying, they can stand on that. Stand on it. Saturn, you know what I'm saying? Saturn being exalted in the 7th house. It's like, damn. You know what I'm saying? Some of the realest, and it's like all relationships kind of fall under that factor of basically how sturdy it can be is based upon how real two individuals can be about who they really are versus who they're trying to be and who they're seen as. It's like, that's the whole, I don't know, that deserves a separate video. But that's really what the moon in Libra is kind of like having us all feel and get a sense of. That's why, but see, it's kind of different. That what I was just speaking on, that little pocket, that's more so life in general. This is the difference between life and astrology. Like, there's life concepts and then there's astrology concepts. The transit we going through, though, is more so about value that you're bringing to the surface to communicate. You know what I'm saying? There's light, and this is why I love talking about astrology, because it's like you could derive real, it's like, no matter how you look at it, it's life. But one of them is expansive knowledge. One of them is like situational. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you look at transits, this is situational shit. So you use the transits to do what it's supposed to do. So right now, if you're trying to figure out, well, what am I actually supposed to be doing? It's more so about bringing in internal value to the surface to communicate for the sake of balance, for the sake of relating. And again, sometimes, like, you got to think, the purpose of relating a lot of times is like, we're still in the spring. So part of the communication's purpose is to plant the seed. You know what I'm saying? Part of the, right now, it's about planting the seed. You might be too worried, Lilith and Virgo, squaring the sun. You might be too worried about whether or not what you saying got it all together. But that's not the point. You have to communicate it even if you feel like it ain't all together. That's like some Lilith shit. Lilith in Virgo, and I think it's dancing between Virgo and Libra. So even in that sense, afraid to relate, afraid to not have it all together, afraid to not have all the details. You still got to learn how to communicate regardless. And then I want to talk about, because I mentioned Neptune. Neptune is going to be squaring the sun this time, so it's going to also be learning how to communicate either with more faith. It's like you can communicate with faith on the external, but it's really about communicating with faith on the internal. Being able to put something out there, an idea about your dream, and be willing to hear what others might have to say. Because that's a lot of times why Pisces energy don't like to communicate. We don't want to hear, we don't give a fuck about what you think about our imagination. We don't give a fuck about what you think about how I feel. You know what I'm saying? We just want to get the feeling off sometimes. I ain't gonna lie. Hey, you got me. You got me. You know what I'm saying? I'm joking. But, you know what I'm saying? This real shit. Sometimes that Pisces energy don't want to hear that shit. So Neptune in that space is like our dreams. Sometimes we don't care to hear what people have to say about our dreams or what they think about it. But it's powerful to be able to have enough faith in what you believe in to speak it. That's kind of like one of the true testaments of whether or not you really believe in what you believe in. Are you willing to communicate it? Because once you communicate it, it's open for debate. And that's going to be the thing about this Gemini season. It's like when it does come to your dreams, it's going to be up for debate. Saturn and Pisces squaring the sun. It's going to be up for debate. how real whatever it is that you doing is, and you have to be willing to stand on that, be like, no, I really believe this. And again, it's going, if you did the energy in Taurus, there was a whole sextile this whole 30 days where you, and it was a slow 30 days. This Taurus season, the slowest shit I've ever experienced. A slow 30 days you had as an opportunity to build more value and foundation around what it is you was dreaming about. Whether you took that opportunity or not is on you. If you got to play catch up, like I said, shut up and listen. Just listen. Just sit back, listen. Don't like fly on the wall. When Gemini gets into the second decan, that's going to be Libra. So you're going to have a little more leeway to get relations, you know what I'm saying, for people to relate to you. You're going to have a lot more leeway. Shout out to Von the Guru, yo. You real shit. Yo, we got a song called, damn, what's that song called, bruh? We got a few songs together y'all got to check out. One of them was on the Gotta Start Somewhere tape. It's crazy that I can't think of SWV, that's what it was. And then the other track that we got I think it's on your last project. I think it was a single. He said, I don't know why that just hit home. So I'm trying to get a divorce. I've sent papers. He hasn't signed them. He has gone completely no contact with everybody, to include our children, for the last. He said, Beeline. I forgot about Beeline. Beeline go hard too. But he said, you're so left hanging on what's going to happen in regards to his communication and signing the paper, not knowing the future upsets me. Yeah, I mean, on some real shit, it ain't even about, like, you can't even think. You're wasting time trying to think about what is going to happen on his end. All you can really do is understand your place in it, and if you're doing what you're supposed to do, what he doing don't even matter. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's got his own life to deal with. You got your own life to deal with. So it's kind of like it would be a waste of time or a poor use of energy. You know, real shit. It would be a poor use of energy to wonder about what's going to happen about his communication, whether he's going to, you know, really all you got to do is do the legal processes you got to do. Leave it open for him to do what he need to do. But in the meantime, create other energies that look like you being cool with just being in your new life. Meaning, if you want to be distant, if you want to go that way, let him go that way. You start rebuilding your life in a way that looks complete. You know what I'm saying? So however that's going to look, you know what I'm saying? Whether or not you need to spend, you know, wherever you feel like you need to spend more time and focus on that. You don't use energies for wondering whether or not his communication is going to get better or not. It's Gemini season. So this is the time to communicate. Let's say he misses that opportunity to do that. Then, you know, again, we can speculate all day, but it's really a poor use of energy, because who cares? You know what I'm saying? Whatever ends up happening is going to happen. You know, I know not knowing the future upsets everybody, really. That's the problem with the world. Everybody want to know the future, but you don't. All you know is, if I do my energy the right way, I ain't got shit to worry about. And that's all God needs you to know. For real, for real. So that's all I can say to that. But yeah, be lying. But now, Vaughn, I was talking about your song. It was the one where you know, he said you had that part. You was like, I'm rolling, I'm rolling, I'm rolling. Y'all, you know what I'm talking about. I forgot the name of it. But yeah, shout out to Vaughn. Real shit. But yeah, getting back to this energy, like I was saying, this is the time to speak up. See, right now, the thing about it is, and I always say this about energy, the thing about it is, right now, it don't feel like the pressure to communicate. So you might get lazy, or you might think shit's sweet. You might think you can kind of get by, but we're not even fully in Gemini yet. And the earlier you catch on to energy, the better the more time you have with it to get better with it. And still, like, one thing about transits too, I'm not sure people understand, is that it's not supposed to always, like, knowing the transit's not always supposed to make you feel better about them. transits still be what they are. Life still is what it is. Life is still complicated and difficult at times. Life still leads you down certain pathways that feel like inevitable, but at the same time, like, I didn't have to go through all this, but it feels inevitable. So at the same time, it's not always like knowing, oh, this transit gonna hit. Ain't always supposed to give you that level of comfort that you might be seeking when you click on an astrology video. You know what I'm saying? I feel like sometimes people click on an astrology video to get comfortable with an energy they finna encounter, but you don't know what that energy, what that day gonna bring. You don't know what that's gonna feel like until you're in it. And sometimes you have to be open and willing to experience life in that way in order to really be able to deal with life. You know what I'm saying? Because when you try to be like I want to go through this transit like this, oh, this is gonna square this, oh, I think it, you know what I'm saying, you end up manifesting a lot of things in your life that later on down the line, it's like it didn't have to be that complicated. It didn't have to be like that, you know. But you know, still, this energy though, in general, oh shit, caught it. This energy in general though, that Libra energy is bringing that about. You know, it's like being willing to communicate, being willing to throw something out there for it to be in the world, to be in a collective. That's going to be kind of the big square really further we get into Gemini season though. And I kind of spoke about Sun squaring Saturn, and I think that's all that's in Pisces, Saturn and Neptune now. Now we got to deal with the stellium and Taurus. So we got Venus in there. And that's kind of like that underlying layer. Venus also going through changes. So what we love and appreciate and value is going to kind of change, develop, grow. You know what I'm saying? You said our court is in Cancer season, my 7th house, Lord, on a Pisces moon, which is my moon. So I just see there's energies, yeah, out there. Yeah, you know, and again, you know what them energies is. So you know that on that day in court, it is going to be emotional, but it's going to be emotional. You could choose to get your emotions in check right now with this air energy. Start to think about how you're going to build your life. Think about how you're going to, you know what I'm saying, depending on, you see, you got Pisces in 7th. So you would have Gemini probably where in the, what is that? So that would be, what, the 10th? Am I tripping? In the 10th or in the, it's either the 10th or the 4th. If you got Pisces here, that means, oh, so it's probably the 4th. So if you have, yeah, Gemini, literally like thinking through how you feel, you know what I'm saying? And even having better communication with yourself about kind of getting your internal world back together. So better self-talk. This is a time to journal, but journal in a way in which you really speaking affirmations to you. You know what I'm saying? Like journal in a way like speak into existence emotional security, and not in a kind of like, I hope this person does this, or I hope this, like really just kind of talk yourself into a space where you're like, look, I'm comfortable as me. I've done all I can. I'm, you know what I'm saying? Like speak yourself up like that. That way you spend in this Sun in the 4th house space, if I'm not mistaken, you spending that building up better logic and ways to talk to yourself into your comfort zone, so that when we do get into your 7th house, right, Sun gets in your 7th house and we're dealing with all that emotional energy. Oh, is this your 5th house? No, it's your 7th. No, Cancer season. We in Taurus season. Well, yeah, you know what I'm saying. Are you saying you had Cancer in your 7th house? Cancer in your 7th house, that would be Gemini in your 6th house. So you could do the same thing, but put it into routine. So it'd be like, you know, better ways to think about, and basically building a routine on, yeah, like I kind of was saying, building your life, starting to make sense and logic out of like, okay, well, shit, if they not gonna be here, how can I build up my life and create my situation to be prepared for that 7th house space where I might have to, you know, change up my relationship. I might have to do something different with that, you know. So shit like that. Or I might have to care about something else with my relationship. You know what I'm saying? I might have to care about something else. You know, Gemini might be your 5th house too. There's so many different ways, man. But that's how you use this shit as a tool. Because like I said before, there's life things that the astrology can show you, but then there's the transits themselves. Like when that day comes, you gonna go through the experience to teach you just what that feel like. But again, in like there's things that it teaches you about life and where you at in life right now. Because we all, even as we go through life, we all constantly trying to find that equilibrium or create it, right? Certain people try to find it. They might look towards certain things to get involved with that make them think that they found it, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? But then there's others who create it, so who don't need those things, might partake in them, but they create their situation based upon them attacking, you know, parts of themselves that might still be too afraid to do this or too afraid to do that. When you create it, this is you going within yourself and actually taking your fears and taking your thoughts and taking these different things and organizing your subconscious. That's why I think this time period is one of the most powerful. That all that Neptune and Pisces energy, it really did kind of open the door. You said Cancer in the 10th, Pisces, got you. Yeah, but when it comes to when it comes to these different things going within yourself, this is when you're really organizing stuff and putting it in its proper place. Again, this is like part of that part where your what they call it, yeah, in your subconscious space, cleaning up that emotional trauma, like kind of following emotional pathways, understanding why you have different feelings in different spaces, and starting to put them back in spaces that they supposed to be in. But every season gonna throw you through a loop, man. Like you just go through life and certain things just kind of reveal themselves. You said Cancer in the 7th, Pisces, Moon, Venus, Mars in the 2nd. Got you. Real shit. Yeah, so Cancer in the 7th, yeah, you know, that's gonna be, you know, your relationship house gonna be lit up. You know what I'm saying? So right now, with the current Sun in Gemini, so that's probably your 6th house, it's getting that routine better. You know what I'm saying? Figuring it out, making sense out of it, in the sense of it's more like logic and communication, you know, thinking through what you want in your surroundings, in a sense. Even though it's not your 3rd house, it's still Gemini energy. So getting used to kind of different social circles, that's kind of the biggest thing. Yeah, new routines when it comes to how you know, who you talk to and how long you talk and stuff like that. But when we go to so the Moon in Libra in conjunct Saturn, yeah, misunderstanding maybe how to make sense out of certain relationships, misunderstanding how to relate what we are dreaming about, you know, in a lot of ways. Again, and that goes to kind of not being too afraid to communicate without knowing all the pieces or the details. Still be willing to show what you have learned and what you have built as a foundation. It's kind of like showing somebody the foundation of something, like a blueprint. It hasn't been built yet, but I could show you where the key points are and where this blueprint could lead us, you know, or maybe that's more so Capricorn, where it could lead us. But it's like, I got these resources. I don't know, like, you know, I got some ideas of what we could do with this, but I got these resources and this foundational idea that we can start to build on, you know what I'm saying, based upon what I value and what I've invested in. If y'all invest in this too, we could build something bigger. Kind of that type of energy, you know what I'm saying? So you want to be around with people you can have conversations like that with. Being around people who not on nothing, the first thing they're going to do is start to come up with all kinds of road blockages and distractions. Right now is real big for distractions too. That's Gemini season in a nutshell. That's why I said, if you didn't spend time investing into anything that you value, you're going to be easily distracted or taken off course based upon what other people talking about, what, you know, what other people talking about, what other people are telling you about what it is that you think you want to be invested in. You know what I'm saying? People could talk you right out of something that was all for you, just based upon their, again, adding their 2 cents that might not have had no business right there. But when it comes to situations like see, Moon in conjunct, yeah, it's in conjunct Saturn, so misunderstanding how to feel about your relationship to reality. That's basically it. So you might even have a hard time kind of seeing where to go next, you know what I'm saying? But that's, you know, you're not necessarily supposed to know where you're going next. You know your direction, so it's like you got to choose that. Like, it's not supposed to feel, it's not always gonna feel like, oh, that's the obvious answer. That's kind of what I mean. It's like, you know where you're going, but it's not always gonna be an obvious yes. You might have to talk to yourself and be like, oh yeah, you know, this might be why it could be yes, and go for it anyway. You know what I'm saying? Again, Lilith in Virgo, Lilith in Libra, that talk yourself out of something energy based upon not feeling like you got it all together, that has to kind of expire. We got to get over that. Moon in Libra, let's see, in conjunct, yeah, we talked about that. Okay, Moon in Libra opposite, we talked about opposite Mars. You say, yeah, this is all lighting up because I have Sagittarius in the 12th with Neptune. Real shit. When it comes to Moon opposite, we talked about Mars, Moon in Libra opposite Chiron, misunderstood. I mean, so at this point, it's like being opposite to making mistakes, being opposite to you know, Chiron's that energy, mistakes and things like that, not wanting to feel like we making another mistake with what we're trying to relate to. So, you know, that's one of those energies. I feel like it's not coming in as prominent as some of the other ones, because we kind of been dealing with mistakes. But right now, you really want to, right now is kind of like that test to see whether or not you learn those lessons. Like, you either in the position where you learn enough lessons through that patience that you had in Taurus, or that patience that you had in Taurus ain't really teach you enough. So you still kind of eager, but everybody's going to be a lot more cautious right now. But so it's kind of like that eagerness is kind of making you more resistant and more like, nah, I ain't just going to rush something. It's kind of like that type of energy. Either you learn to be more patient, or right now you more so scared to not be patient, or you scared to make the same mistake again, when you're not really necessarily supposed to be scared right now. You still got to be willing to communicate. But again, if you did the work, you'll be in a different kind of perspective on whether or not, you know, how to go about not making a mistake again. It's going to come from a place of wisdom rather than a place of like fear, you know what I'm saying? Or a place of like, I don't even want to ruffle the feathers. You're going to want to keep it harmonious. You know what I'm saying? You're not even going to be up for the conversation. You're going to be like, I just want to keep it harmonious. I just want to keep it cool because I don't even want to go there. You know what I'm saying? That's a different kind of perspective, which again, in your situation, that might make the most sense. But right now, being in an open, free space where you can communicate what it is you value, that's always going to be a more potent space to manifest from, or to material, or to get to materialization, because the opportunities that come from that are going to be ones that's more suited for you versus the ones you kind of more so you might be trying to get, you know, something might present itself as an opportunity that'll lead you right down to something that's a mistake before, and you're not gonna know whether or not it's that until you kind of, you know, entertaining it for too long, and you be like, yo, wait, hold up, this seems familiar, and then it'd be like that. Moon and you know, moon opposite the north node too, so the moon conjunct the south node. So right now you could have that gift to kind of feel or that power to feel connected to a new part of yourself, right? But it's almost like you feel connected to a new part of yourself, or it's gonna feel like you still kind of surrounded by too many things that remind you of your old self, still relating to too many things that remind you of your old self, not enough things around you that represent your new values. You know what I'm saying? Again, that's gonna look like what Taurus left you with. If you planted the right season Taurus, you should be in that new side of yourself you're able to relate to, or access to relate to others. If it's the other end, it's gonna feel like, damn, I'm still too surrounded by things that I used to value, not none of the things I value now. And again, Gemini is your opportunity still to change that, to start having conversations in the social circles of those who you do value, or who talk about the things that you value, or are involved in the things that you value, versus just being where you don't belong, you know what I'm saying, or being where you feel you've outgrown. Moon in Libra. Let's see, we talked about Aries energies, we talked about the Pisces energies. What we got left? We got Aquarius. We talked about that. We talked about, let's see, then we got what? Capricorn, nothing in there. On the other side of that, we'll see, Pisces, Aries. We went to Taurus, right? I think we yeah, Moon and Libra in conjunct Mercury and Taurus. So Mercury now is more stable, wants to make more sense out of things. Again, speaking on what you value. We've been saying that this whole live. Speaking more about what you value and being able to go through that misunderstanding. It's okay if you don't understand what I value. Let me introduce you to it. So the moon having the emotional bandwidth to understand that it's not something to get too emotional about. Let me balance it out. You don't know yet. Let me put you on. So you willing to kind of deal with a person not understanding, because you're willing to initiate understanding through the communication to relate it. You know what I'm saying? That's how you use that Libra energy right now, with this in conjunction. Again, this is literally everything we speak now has to be what we want to see around us. We can't afford Mercury in Taurus. We can't afford to speak what we don't want to see, or we don't want to create life with, what we don't want to plant as a seed in the world, in the minds of others. We can't afford to speak like that right now. You can't afford to say negative things that go against your goals and intentions and those around you. You know what I'm saying? You can't afford it. And anybody around you, you hear speaking like that, you got to look sideways and be like, hey, watch it. You know what I'm saying? You might need to shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Like you're talking real crazy right now. You're talking about it. You're talking like an individual I don't need to spend time around. Talking like an individual I don't want to invest in. You know what I'm saying? Invest time, energy, space, all that, because it's gonna show. You know what I'm saying? Right now, it's like it's one of them speak things into existence times. And the shift going on is those who know how to kind of take heed of this energy, and those who still lagging behind, still don't believe what they say, still don't really carry nothing or move with no real intention, or don't have no real value to them, you know. Because this whole year has been a conversation on authenticity, being genuine, and doing things based upon who you really are, your new self in this new world, and where your position lies. It's a year 8. Investments, you know what I'm saying? Investments, sustainability. You're gonna see a lot of individuals who can't sustain that character no more. They wasn't really honing in on no value. They really didn't develop anything. They really didn't invest in something that was durable. So who they are now is showing up like the Gemini energy on the negative end, flaky. It's I don't know. I just can't make it. Can't make anything out of it. You know what I'm saying? It's too all over the place. It's gonna be just like that. You know what I'm saying? Peace Day, appreciate you said peace day. I appreciate and value the knowledge and wisdom. Thank you, man. I value you being here. Shout out to you. Thank you. But real shit. So and I ain't even get into this, but I don't know. I need to take my ass home. Shout out Etheric Moss. Shout out. Yeah, man. But speaking on what I was just saying, Jupiter and Gemini. I didn't even get to that yet. And I gotta do a separate live video for that one, because Jupiter and Gemini are gonna shake things up too. That's gonna be an interesting energy. Jupiter, you know, esoterically or astrologically doesn't like to be in Gemini, and I have a feeling we're gonna figure out why. I think part of it is gonna have to do with experiencing things. I don't know. I'm gonna take my time with that one. I'm gonna take my time with that one, because that's gonna be an interesting little transit, I think, just based upon you know, the area of expansion being in the place of communication during this age of Aquarius, a time in which I don't know, there's so many new ways. It seems like there's a lot more just a lot more ways to communicate than I think we even aware of at the moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, so many ways. It seems like new ways are being discovered to communicate and convey ideas. So I'm interested to see how that expands, but or to talk about it. But he said we both got Lilith and Gemini taking our time with this one, right? Real talk, bro. Yeah, my Lilith and Gemini, man. Like I said, I kind of like that Pisces shit I was talking about earlier, like communicating. I was like, I'll do it, but at a certain point, I'll be like, damn, like, you know, because what you got in your imagination, sometimes you don't care for the debate, you know, but you got to be willing to deal with it. You got to be willing to be disagreed with, you know. And again, that's good. That's good energy. Like I was even saying, all of this being good energy, that's for community and stuff like that. Because in order for a community, like I said, a community is only as strong as the individuals within it willing to go within themselves. Or I said that about relationships, but again, a community is a relationship but tenfold. It's just expanded, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, and life is part of that. It's part of life. Relationships, how we relate, learning the parts of ourselves that we haven't seen until we related to a different side of all possibilities. We don't know yet, you know what I'm saying? You didn't know you acted like that until you met somebody who brought that out of you. You know what I'm saying? You didn't know that was something you could be aware of until you seen it in the eyes of another. You know what I'm saying? But what was I talking about? Moon and Libra. Dang, gotta get that good stretch in. Moon and Libra, we was talking about squaring. We was talking about yeah, Taurus. Yeah, Moon and Libra. That's what it was. Moon and Libra. Last transit we talked about the oppositions and Aries, and oh yeah, Moon and Libra in conjunct Uranus, misunderstanding how to relate our individuality. That's part of it too, but that's kind of like what we already been saying basically. And maybe, you know, you might be having a hard time managing some of the changes, you know what I'm saying, finding balance in changes, but it's just a misunderstanding, so just kind of stick with it. Ma said ways of communicating and the debates and being disagreed with. Real shit. Yeah. That was my previous point. But yeah, that was my previous point. Appreciate you, bro. Real shit. But yeah, you know, because I'm finna close this out. Moon, you know, just that last moon transit. So I think that was it, right? Moon in conjunct Uranus, misunderstanding that. Let's see, the moon in Libra, so the next moon is gonna be Scorpio. Yeah, so see, you know, that, and that's the thing too. Shout out Mellow, shout out Blazing Mellow. That's the thing too about this energy. When you think about it too, the moon sliding into Scorpio next, you should really communicate now, because when the moon gets into Scorpio, that's gonna be a whole different vibe shift. And that's gonna be, again, let's say you spent this transit and you didn't really say what you wanted to say, you didn't speak on what you value, you might choose to speak up during the moon in Scorpio, and you didn't create the proper relationships that secure things, or that make it secure for you to express certain emotions or not express certain emotions. So it's like the further not expression of certain things could turn into other issues. We'll talk about those when that transit comes. So it's just another point to just, hey, energies in the sky, figure out ways you could ride the wave. And you know what I'm saying, even if you, because you don't always have to jump into energy, especially if it's not your day, but understand, you know, the idea, or just the concept of pent-up energies, where you could create a pent-up energy for yourself by not accessing what we all have access to, and end up it spilling out in time, and at times you didn't want it to. You know what I'm saying? It's like, damn, I didn't want it to come out like that. And it's like you didn't realize that, hey, you have to still figure out ways to facilitate this energy. You still have to find ways to let shit flow. You know what I'm saying? You gotta, you know what I'm saying? You gotta live life, man. 2024, you can't stop. You can't keep on not living life, man. You gotta just live and do things. You know what I'm saying? Like right now, I think that's the springtime vibe. It's like, come on, like wake up, man. Live and do things. Stop being so scared. See, that's the kind of vibe I feel like Jupiter and Gemini gonna give. Kind of like being more willing to just get up and do things. If you on that side, if you on the negative side, it's like Mello said, always funny how motherfuckers expose themselves during Scorpio. Always, bruh. It's just like, it's inevitable, bruh. It's inevitable. It's like you couldn't ask for a better setup. He said, it's going to be interesting in my house. My daughter's Gemini sun, my ex Gemini rising, and my Chiron is in Gemini. We can see how this is. Yeah, real shit. Real shit. Everybody, it's going to be a lot of communication. Or it should be. A lot of communication. But, you know, for all in all, though, just make sure you're, because it's the same thing. The theme this whole year is like authenticity, sustainability. Have the conversations you want to keep having. Represent the energy you want to keep seeing. You know what I'm saying? Like that to me is like kind of some of the simplest building block for this. Is like, if you speak the things you want to be spoken to about, and even if you hear things you have to engage in conversations, make those, if you know that you're dealing with an energy you're trying to put an end to, on the other end of that, speak in a way in which you're ending it. You know what I'm saying? Don't keep having a conversation you want to have for those things that you have to speak on, that you're trying to put an end to. Speak on it as if you're actually making that the period statement, like it ends here. And even if it comes back again, it's a practice. You know what I'm saying? Still part of the process. Still dealing with that Taurus stellium. So still there's still keys and gems and being slow, meticulous, but our minds are going to be moving faster. So there's going to be a lot more things that we can process. But that's why I said, try your best not to get too scattered. Stay focused and honed in on what you developed as a new wisdom over what you value. That's what the whole Taurus transit was all about. And that should be rooted in your individuality, in yourself, in your authenticity. And then keep in mind, in that relationship, what am I trying to sustain? What do I want to keep experiencing throughout the summer, and maybe even be able to eat from during the fall and winter when there's nothing else to grasp? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think that's everything. I think we hit all the planets. That was Taurus, Gemini, yeah, Cancer, yeah, boom, boom, boom. So yeah, keep on going. We still in the waxing period, man. So it's still mad opportunity out here to continue to improve upon your life and your situation. So don't sleep on it. Take advantage of it. Like we've been saying, full moon in Sagittarius, you want to have some room to expand. You know what I'm saying? To be satisfied with what you know. Be satisfied with where you can go, the potential of it. You know what I'm saying? And all that good stuff. But much love. I will catch you on the other side. Make sure y'all tapping into the links below. I'm gonna put 2 links, the event tickets and the volunteer link. I still gotta post it on IG for the 717 conference in Atlanta, July 13th. It's going down. Spiritual individuals come have the opportunity to express yourself, be a performer, be a public speaker, a teacher. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have the stage set. So if you have something you want to speak about, you know, we're gonna have open panels, astrology panels, and then things that's more correlated to you know, worldly topics, things about psychology, just, you know, public speaking and stuff like that. Things that we teach, sharing knowledge and wisdom. If you want to speak on that, if you want to, you know, we're really opening the floor. If you want to be a volunteer, that could look like being a part of the camera crew, be a part of the staff, be a business vendor, bring your business, sell your products. You know what I'm saying? That's what the 717 conference is all about. So if you're interested in coming through in Atlanta, July 13th, go ahead and hit the link. I'm gonna put it down below. And if it's not, you know, it's not gonna be here now, but you know, when this video posts, just find it and the links will be below, and then you can get the event link, and then for the tickets, and then to be a volunteer. Also, we're looking for DJs and stuff like that. If you know how to DJ an event, you know what I'm saying, come sign up to be a volunteer. You know, basically it's many different positions, many different things that we could use, but we want to know what you gifted in, what you're good at, what you would like to do, and that way we can create that harmonious, you know, team effort and bring together a great event, you know what I'm saying, another great event. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. Also, all volunteers also have to purchase a ticket too. And so, so both links are gonna be available to y'all. And yeah, man, we just gonna keep on building. It's gonna be a great summer. I got a feeling, you know what I'm saying? Got a feeling. I've been hearing this, that, you know, we always hear that quote, you know, life could change in 1 year type shit. And I mean, it's been many years that we've been putting in work, but I mean, I want to put that to test for real. But anyway, much love. I'll catch you on the next one. Thank y'all for coming through, and peace.